Good morning. It's another beautiful day. So we have a good amount of work today. We have an AC compressor to replace, which I also have to go buy refrigerant for that, and likely a belt too. I think the belt needs to be replaced as well. We'll see once we take it off. I have to check out my buddy's 1973 Corvette, which has a problem starting sometimes. I think it's the flex plate or the starter. I think the teeth on part of the flex plate are messed up. The 2014 Impala no start, that one's coming back closer to the house. And then the Volkswagen Tiguan starter. So, you know, we got to head out all the way to the beach, then downtown, then we start working our way back closer to home. So, let's go! We have a long drive this morning. Where are you going? It's a stop sign. We have a long drive this morning, about an hour. Actually, not too bad. Like I said, we got to head out all the way to the beach, and then we'll work our way back slowly but surely, and we'll finish the day closer to home. Should have more of a longer day compared to my usual days. Right now it's currently 7:20. Probably should have left the house 20 minutes ago. That would have been better. I got to do a better job of, it was a little bit of both, getting up at the right time and getting everything ready in time. So yeah, we got to figure that out quick. I don't know how we keep messing that up. Little by little we'll get there. Let's have a good day. Point today, we're gonna have to get gas. Yeah, I probably waste close to a quarter tank every day. And it's not cheap once it gets time to replacing it. Once it gets time to refilling it, it's not cheap. So, you know, today's gonna hurt a little at some point.
Writing in the margins of my mind all day, sipping herbal in the morning just to feel okay. Had a dream I was water just flowing through space, till I landed on the record that my grandma would play. Talk sweet like jazz in the park after rain. What the grass smell green and the air feels safe. Put the phone on mute, let the silence explain. I don't need much, just a book in the brain. Used to chase things that were run from me. Now I sit still, let the peace come free. Paint a verse in the sky.
So we're now getting pretty close to the Honda Pilot. We got to change out that AC compressor, get it ready to get that AC running again. Make sure there was also some noise. I got to identify if that was coming from the pulley or the belt. So we'll figure that out once we replace the AC compressor, because I'm pretty sure it was coming from the compressor. But we got to make sure it's not coming from anything else. So, you know, we're almost there. Now it's time to really get to work. Let's go! So here we are. Get the belt off, get the compressor off. I don't know how difficult it's gonna be, but I think it's supposed to take around 3 hours, so we'll find out. Progress. We're making progress. I just spent close to, no, a little bit more than 3 hours working for nothing, because I'm guessing Honda Pilots with the V6 engine have two different types of compressors that have been fitted to them, and the one that they sent me does not fit. The bolt holes line up, and that's about it. The electrical connector was different. The place where the AC fittings were for the line, they were just in different locations completely, and it would have damaged the hoses to put them in. I spent a lot of time trying. The electrical connector was easy to, you know, to get it jumped over to the original one. The lines, it was going to eventually damage the lines, so I put the original compressor back in. I left everything how I found it. I started the return for this compressor. I ordered the correct compressor. Now that I know exactly what the compressor looks like, yeah, now I got to come back on Monday. Today is Thursday. Now it is about 11:30 a.m. and we move on. We got to just try and, you know, put this behind us and move forward with our day. Hopefully everything else goes well. There's nothing we can do about it. Sometimes stuff like this happens, even if you go to the local parts store. This happens all the time. It would just be a lot easier to remedy, because I could, you know, I could go to the local parts store, tell them to give me the correct one if they have it, and that would be that. And I would have probably still been able to finish the job today. But that comes with a premium. If you look at the price that I paid for this one, and this is ASIN, this is a good brand. I don't. It's not because I'm getting, you know, cheap stuff. This is probably at least $100 cheaper than what the parts store would charge me. So nothing. We move forward and we keep going. And now we're gonna go check out my buddy's 1973 Corvette that, depending on where the starter is on the flex plate, it won't start. So pretty sure he needs a new flex plate, and I already pretty much confirmed that diagnosis. I had spent a lot of time with that car. He just wants me to take an extra look to be extra sure before we get into it. That is a very big job, and normally I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take that kind of job, you know, doing it mobile. Separate the transmission. I think the transmission has to come all the way out. I'm not sure if you have enough space just separating it to get the flex plate bolts out and take it out and replace it. I think the transmission has to come all the way out. So, you know, just because he's my friend, I'll probably do it. If not, I normally wouldn't take that job. So yeah, we move on and we keep going. Let's go. Bit of a mission right now. My buddy's building wouldn't give me access, so I found a way. I just need to check out something in the car. So currently walking up to find the car, and then I'll get it checked out real quick and head out. Just finished checking out my boy's car. Had to literally sneak in because management is, I don't want to say the words that are actually coming to my mind, but management is very unreasonable in this building. Yeah, at first they told me to get my friend to send them a message, you know, send them an email with my information, his information, the car's information. And once they had that, they could let me in. Then once he sent the email, they received the email, they said, no, yeah, that's not gonna work anyway. You know, if it was to access, get this part. I had to pull a mission to check out my buddy's car. Not a big deal. We're already out of there, and we're moving on to the next car. This car has no start. Hopefully it's something simple. I don't know what it could be, but we're gonna find out. All done with checking out the Impala that would not start. So it all started, I was very confused when I got here because, you know, someone tells you that a car doesn't start and you pull up and the car's running. I think it's pretty normal to be confused. Apparently she had someone come jump it and charge it yesterday to kind of try and see what was wrong. I don't know. I guess they couldn't find out what was wrong. There's nothing wrong with the car. I ran a battery test, alternator test, starter test. I think I just hit these little poles in this garage. They're extremely tight. Oh no, I didn't hit them. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with the car. Everything was perfectly fine. There was no codes that would indicate anything was wrong with the car. I asked the owner of the car, hey, by any chance, when you got the car jumped, were your lights already on? And she goes, oh. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, so I think she just left her lights on. The battery died. They jumped it, they charged the battery, and everything was fine. They had replaced the battery about 4 months ago, so I didn't think there was going to be anything wrong with the battery, but I thought maybe the alternator failed and that caused the car to die. And then it didn't have enough voltage to start back up. But nope, she had just left her headlights on. I didn't charge them the full diagnostic fee. It was pretty cut and clear, pretty simple. And I didn't have to work too much, so I charged them a discounted diagnostic fee. You know, I still had to pay for gas and other expenses, and I still have to make money. I still came out here to work. Yeah, so we got a simple one there. We got tossed an alley-oop, and now we're gonna go back to that Volkswagen Tiguan I diagnosed, I believe it was yesterday, and it had a damaged starter. There's a few things I want to check before fully condemning the starter. I'm like 95% certain that it's a starter. I won't replace it until I check those few things. There's a weird glitch in the shifter, in the electrical contacts, that can cause the car to not start. It can cause a starter lockout, but that I jumped the starter manually and it didn't flinch, anything like that. And there was an engine starter performance code. What I think happened, since the car supposedly died on them while they were driving, and then the starter is also messed up. That car has an auto start stop feature. What I think happened, the car auto stopped, and then when it went to auto start, the starter was already done for. And then, yeah, it just stayed that way. Does everything else, I haven't been able to test the alternator, obviously, because I haven't been able to start the car, but everything else seemed fine. Yeah, apart from that, maybe I just have to check grounds. I'm pretty sure it's the starter, but I do want to check those things before replacing the starter and forcing them to pay for that, obviously. Yeah, that's part of the reason why auto start stop systems are bad. I know car companies do them for fuel efficiency and emissions and whatever. The amount of fuel you save from your car idling at a stoplight for a minute is negligible. So really all you're doing is causing damage to your starter by overworking it constantly. Whatever. I turn that off on every single one of my cars. Even on this truck, Chevy doesn't let you, it doesn't have memory. I turn it off every single time I get in this car. It's muscle memory now, pretty much. Other cars, I've had it coded out. I coded it out so that it doesn't ever come back on. Usually cars don't have memory. They should have that as a memory function. If I turned it off, it shouldn't turn back on until I want it to turn on. Yeah, so we got a short drive to the Tiguan, and we'll see what happens there. I think I'm going to end up having to change the starter. So we'll see. All right, let's go back to work. I'm finally done for the day. Let's go, man. That is the best feeling every single day. I just finished with that Volkswagen Tiguan starter. Before I did it, I wanted to be 100% sure. Diagnosis, I was like 95% sure, but there was also the chance that it could have been the common glitch that they have in the shifter. And then I double checked, because I had already checked that yesterday, but I wanted to make sure again that it had ground. It was the starter. The starter was blown as soon as I replaced it. The car started right up, and it had no other problem. I had told the owner originally that, since the car shut off while driving, it was possible that there was something else wrong with the car, and we would have to figure that out after fixing the starter. But as we found out, right, I was doing some research last night about specifically this car. Really, this applies to any car with this function, but since that car has an auto start stop function, it basically, well, first of all, that fries your starters. It's basically just overworking your starters to death. It shut off as the guy was driving, not him. Specifically, he tells me, he's like, man, I hate that. I turn off the auto start stop every single time I get in the car, but my dad was using the car while I was on vacation, and I guess he doesn't know to do that. So the car did the auto stop, didn't crank up again. And then that, if you're not really thinking about I have the auto start stop function on, that seems like the car just died. So the car didn't really shut off on him. It auto stopped and then it failed to auto start again. I'm glad we got that right. I'm also very glad that we didn't have to do another repair on that car. That sucks. That would, imagine having 2 huge auto bills hit you at once unexpectedly. But yeah, man, we're done for the day. It's been a great day, except for, you know, the first job with the wrong compressor. But after that, most things went smoothly. You know, every day's a great day. Sometimes I have bad moments, but every day's a great day. We're alive. We got to be thankful. Thank God. I just have a few more errands to run. I just have to stop by AutoZone, drop off the core for the starter, and stop by the ATM, drop off some money. But other than that, we're done. Thank you for watching, especially if you got this far. Please like, please subscribe. Have a good one. It's not done either.